Y'all ever had somebody in your family who just refuses to act right? I'm talking about the kind of person who shows up to Thanksgiving with store-bought mac and cheese, then has the audacity to critique your mama's greens? Well, let me tell you about my Auntie Denise. This woman wore a full-length white dress to my wedding. Not cream, not ivory, not off-white. I'm talking wedding dress white, bride white. I object to this union white. But before I get into how she tried to upstage me on my special day, let me back up and tell you the whole story, because this mess didn't start at my wedding. No, ma'am. This goes back years, and honey, when I say this woman has been a thorn in my side since I was old enough to understand what messy meant, I mean it with my whole chest. My name is Gabrielle Thompson, but everybody calls me Bree. I'm 32 years old, and I just married the love of my life, Isaiah Mitchell. Now, Isaiah is fine, y'all. I'm talking about the kind of fine that makes you forget your ATM pin when he smiles at you. He's 6'2", with skin the color of warm honey, a beard that's always perfectly lined up, and dimples so deep you could hide your secrets in them. Plus, he's a pediatrician, loves his mama, goes to church without being forced, and can cook. I'm talking about real cooking, not just throwing some chicken in the air fryer and calling it a meal. We met at a Howard University alumni event 3 years ago. I was there representing my marketing firm, and he was there because his little sister dragged him along. Our eyes met across a room full of people doing the electric slide, and that was it. By the end of the night, we had exchanged numbers, life stories, and he had already invited me to Sunday dinner at his mama's house. Now, Isaiah's family is amazing. His mama, Mrs. Patricia Mitchell, is everything you want in a mother-in-law. She welcomed me with open arms from day one, taught me her secret cornbread recipe, and even defended me when Isaiah's ex-girlfriend tried to slide back into the picture. His daddy, Mr. Robert Mitchell, is a retired firefighter who tells the same 3 stories at every family gathering, but they're good stories, so nobody minds. And his little sister, Kimmy, became my best friend faster than you can say bridesmaid. But my family? Chili? That's a different story altogether. Don't get me wrong, I love my people. My mama, Sandra Thompson, is a force of nature. She's a high school principal who doesn't play about education or disrespect. She raised me and my brother, Devin, by herself after my daddy passed away when I was 10. She worked 2 jobs, made sure we had everything we needed, and still found time to be president of the PTA. That woman is my hero. My brother Devin is cool too. He's 2 years younger than me, works in IT, and is married to a sweet girl named Jasmine. They have twin boys who are absolutely adorable terrors. But then there's Auntie Denise, my mama's older sister. Lord, have mercy. Auntie Denise is 55 years old, has been married and divorced 3 times, and believes that because she's the oldest child in her family, she's entitled to run everybody else's life. She's the type who will show up uninvited, eat all your food, criticize your house, your hair, your man, and your life choices, and then ask you for a ride home. She's also been jealous of my mama for as long as I can remember. See, my mama got married young to my daddy, who was a good man with a steady job. They were happy. They bought a house. They had kids. They were living their best life. Meanwhile, Auntie Denise kept picking the wrong men and making the wrong choices. And instead of being happy for her sister, she became bitter. After my daddy died, Auntie Denise tried to move in on my mama's life. She'd come over unannounced, try to tell mama how to raise us, and even had the nerve to flirt with any man who showed interest in mama. It was like she couldn't stand to see mama succeed at anything. And then she transferred all that mess to me. When I graduated high school as valedictorian, Auntie Denise told everyone at the celebration that it was only because the school had low standards. When I got accepted to Howard with a full scholarship, she said I probably only got in because of affirmative action. When I started my own marketing firm at 28 and it took off, she told people I was lucky and that she could have done the same thing if she'd had all those opportunities. But when I got engaged to Isaiah, oh, honey, that's when Auntie Denise really showed out. Isaiah proposed to me on a beach in Martha's Vineyard during a vacation we took last summer. It was perfect. The sun was setting, making the water look like liquid gold. He got down on one knee, pulled out a ring that sparkled brighter than my future, and asked me to be his wife. I said yes so fast I almost knocked him over. We waited until we got back home to tell our families. Isaiah's parents were thrilled. They hugged us, cried happy tears, and immediately started planning an engagement party. My mama was overjoyed. She hugged Isaiah so tight I thought she might crack one of his ribs, and she kept saying, "Thank you, Jesus. My baby found a good man." But Auntie Denise? Her face went from fake smile to pure hatred in 0.2 seconds flat. "You getting married?" she said, looking at the ring like it was a cubic zirconia from the flea market. "Well, I guess it's about time. You're not getting any younger." I was 31, not exactly ancient. "Thank you, Auntie," I said through gritted teeth. "And what does he do again?" she asked, looking Isaiah up and down like he was an item at a yard sale she was considering haggling over. "I'm a pediatrician," Isaiah said with his usual patience. "He's better than me because I would have cussed her out by now." "A children's doctor," Auntie Denise said, like that was somehow less impressive. "Well, I guess that's nice. My third husband was a doctor. A real doctor, though. A surgeon." "All doctors are real doctors, Auntie," I said, feeling my temperature rising. "Bree," my mama warned, giving me that look that said, "Don't start none, won't be none, but if you start something, I got your back." Auntie Denise just smiled that fake smile of hers and changed the subject. But I knew right then that she was going to be a problem, and I was right. Over the next several months, as we planned the wedding, Auntie Denise found ways to insert herself into everything and make it difficult. When we sent out save the dates, she called my mama complaining that the design was too modern and that we should have used traditional colors. When we booked our venue, a beautiful historic mansion with gardens, she told everyone it was too small and that we should have booked a bigger place. When we chose our wedding colors sage green and gold, she said they were boring and suggested we go with purple and orange instead. But here's where it gets really messy. 3 months before the wedding, I went dress shopping with my mama, my future mother-in-law, Mrs. Patricia Kimmy, and my 2 best friends from college, Nia and Tasha. We went to this beautiful bridal boutique in Georgetown, and I found the dress. It was perfect. A fitted mermaid style with delicate lace, a sweetheart neckline, and a train that made me feel like royalty. When I stepped out of the dressing room, everyone cried. Even Nia, who claims she never cries, was wiping tears. We celebrated with mimosas and made an appointment to come back for fittings. It was one of the best days of my life. But apparently, Auntie Denise heard about our dress shopping trip and was offended that she wasn't invited. Never mind that she wasn't invited because she always has something negative to say and I didn't want her ruining my special moment. She called my mama and complained for 2 hours about being excluded from family events. My mama, bless her heart, tried to smooth things over. "Denise, it was just the bridal party and the mothers. It wasn't personal." "Not personal?" Auntie Denise screeched. "I'm her auntie. I changed her diapers. I should have been there." That was a lie. Auntie Denise didn't change anybody's diapers. She was too busy with husband number 2 at the time. To keep the peace, my mama suggested that we have a family dinner so Auntie Denise could feel included in the wedding planning. I didn't want to, but mama asked me to do it for her, and I can't say no to my mama. So we had this big dinner at mama's house. Isaiah and his parents came. My brother and his family came. And of course, Auntie Denise showed up 2 hours late, wearing a tracksuit and carrying a bottle of cheap wine. We were in the middle of discussing the ceremony when Auntie Denise decided to voice her opinion about everything. "I think the ceremony is too long," she said, even though she hadn't seen the ceremony outline. "People don't want to sit through all that. Keep it short and sweet." "We like the ceremony the way it is, Auntie," I said politely. "And another thing," she continued, ignoring me. "I think you should reconsider this whole outdoor ceremony idea. What if it rains? We have a tent as backup," Isaiah explained. "A tent?" Auntie Denise gasped like we'd suggested getting married in a dumpster. Tacky, very tacky. Mrs. Patricia, who had been quiet up until this point, spoke up. I think an outdoor ceremony is lovely, and they've planned for every contingency. Auntie Denise cut her eyes at Mrs. Patricia like she'd committed a crime by having an opinion. Well, I've been to a lot of weddings, Auntie Denise said, and the outdoor ones are always a mess. Hair gets ruined, makeup melts, people get bitten by bugs. We're providing fans and bug spray, I said, my patience wearing thin. I'm just trying to help, Auntie Denise said in that fake innocent voice she uses when she's being deliberately difficult. But if you want your wedding to be a disaster, that's your business. Isaiah squeezed my hand under the table, silently telling me to let it go. But my mama wasn't about to let it go. Denise, Mama said in her principal voice, the one that makes grown men sit up straight. Bree and Isaiah have put a lot of thought into their wedding. If you don't have anything supportive to say, maybe you should keep your comments to yourself. Auntie Denise's face twisted up like she'd bitten into a lemon. I'm just trying to be helpful, Sandra. Somebody needs to tell these children the truth. The truth is that you're being negative and unsupportive, Mama said, and I'm not going to let you ruin my daughter's happiness. Auntie Denise stood up so fast her chair almost fell over. You know what? I don't need this disrespect. I'm leaving. Bye, I said under my breath, but apparently not quiet enough because she heard me. What did you say? She snapped. I said bye, Auntie. Have a good evening. She grabbed her purse and stormed out, slamming the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. After she left, there was this awkward silence until Mr. Robert, Isaiah's daddy, said, Well, that was more entertaining than love and hip-hop. We all burst out laughing, and the tension broke. But I knew Auntie Denise wasn't done. That woman holds grudges like the government holds onto student loans, forever and with interest. Sure enough, a week later, my mama called me sounding stressed. Bree, baby, your Auntie Denise is talking about not coming to the wedding. Good, I said. That'll save me money on catering. Gabrielle, Mama said my full name, which meant she was serious. She's my sister. I know she's difficult, but I don't want family drama at your wedding. Can you please call her and smooth things over? I didn't want to, but again, I can't say no to my mama. So I called Auntie Denise, and y'all, this conversation was something else. Auntie, it's Bree. Mama said you're thinking about not coming to the wedding. Why would I come where I'm not wanted? She said dramatically. You are wanted, Auntie. You're family. I don't feel like family. I feel like an outsider. You didn't invite me dress shopping. You dismissed all my suggestions at dinner. You clearly don't value my opinion. I took a deep breath and counted to 10. Auntie, I'm sorry if you felt excluded. That wasn't my intention. I would really love for you to be at my wedding. That was partly true. I wanted her there because it would make my mama happy, not because I actually wanted her there. Well, she said, her tone softening slightly. I suppose I could come, but I need to know what everyone is wearing so I can coordinate. The bridal party is wearing sage green. The mothers are wearing gold. And guests can wear whatever they want as long as it's not white or sage green. What about cream? Can I wear cream? Cream is fine, I said, mentally noting to tell the photographer to avoid taking pictures of her if she showed up looking like she was competing with the bride. And ivory? What about ivory? Auntie, cream is fine, just nothing that looks bridal, okay? Okay, I got it. No white. You don't have to keep repeating yourself. But she kept asking questions about colors and dress codes for another 20 minutes. And looking back, I should have known she was planning something. The weeks leading up to the wedding were a blur of final fittings, vendor meetings, rehearsals, and making sure every detail was perfect. Isaiah and I decided to write our own vows, which meant spending many nights sitting together, trying to put our feelings into words that didn't sound like they came from a Hallmark card. The rehearsal dinner was beautiful. Isaiah's parents hosted it at this nice restaurant in downtown D.C. All our family and friends were there, including Auntie Denise, who showed up on time for once and was actually pleasant. She complimented my dress, asked Isaiah about his work, and didn't say anything negative all evening. I should have known she was up to something. The morning of the wedding was chaotic in the best way possible. My bridesmaids and I got ready at the venue in the bridal suite. Nia was on mimosa duty, Tasha was managing the playlist, and Kimmy was making sure everyone stayed on schedule. My mama came in and out, helping with whatever needed to be done, while also getting her own hair and makeup done. I was sitting in the makeup chair when my phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Shayla, Auntie Denise's daughter. "Bree, I need to warn you about something. I just saw my mama's dress for the wedding. Girl, it's white. Like, wedding dress white." I tried to tell her it was inappropriate, but she told me to mind my business. "I'm sorry, sis. Just wanted to give you a heads up." I stared at that text for a full minute, my blood pressure rising with each second. "What's wrong?" Nia asked, noticing my expression. I showed her the text. "Oh, hell no," Nia said, loud enough that everyone in the room turned to look. "What happened?" Tasha asked. "Auntie Denise is wearing white to the wedding." The room erupted. My bridesmaids were ready to fight. Mrs. Patricia said she'd handle it. Kimmy suggested we accidentally spill red wine on her. My mama just sighed deeply and rubbed her temples. "I should have known," Mama said. "That woman can't let anyone be happy." "What do we do?" I asked, trying to stay calm even though I wanted to call Auntie Denise right then and cuss her out in a way that would make sailors blush. "We don't do anything," Mama said firmly. "Today is your day, Bree. Don't let Denise steal your joy. We'll handle her when she gets here." "How?" I asked. "Let me worry about that," Mama said with a look in her eyes that reminded me why she's been a successful principal for 20 years. She doesn't play about her kids. I tried to push thoughts of Auntie Denise out of my mind and focus on getting ready. The makeup artist was giving me a gorgeous natural glam look. My hair was styled in elegant curls, pinned up with baby's breath woven throughout, and when I finally put on my dress, I felt like a princess. My mama cried when she saw me. "You look just like your daddy," she whispered, hugging me carefully so she wouldn't mess up my dress. "He would be so proud of you." That made me cry, which made my makeup artist panic, but she fixed it quickly. Meanwhile, downstairs, guests were arriving. The venue looked absolutely stunning. The ceremony was set up in the garden under a beautiful wooden arch decorated with sage green and white flowers. White chairs lined up in neat rows, with sage green ribbons tied to the ends. The sun was shining, but not too hot. It was absolutely perfect. And then Auntie Denise arrived. I wasn't there to see it, but Kimmy recorded the whole thing on her phone and showed me later. Auntie Denise pulled up in her Nissan Altima, got out, and walked toward the entrance wearing a floor-length white dress. Not cream, not ivory. White. Snow white. Bright white. I'm trying to compete with the bride. White. It even had lace details and a small train. The audacity. Several guests gasped. My cousin Shayla tried to stop her mama at the entrance. "Mama, you can't wear that. It's white." "It's not white, it's winter white," Auntie Denise said. Like that made it better. "Mama, please. This is embarrassing." "What's embarrassing is you trying to tell me what to wear. I'm a grown woman. Now move." That's when my mama appeared. She had changed into her gold mother of the bride dress and looked absolutely regal. "Denise," Mama said calmly, "what are you wearing?" "A dress," Auntie Denise said defiantly. "Why? You don't like it?" "You know exactly why I'm asking. You're wearing white to my daughter's wedding." "It's not white, it's winter white." "Denise, stop playing games. You know that's inappropriate." "I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's a beautiful dress, and nobody told me I couldn't wear this color. Bree specifically told you not to wear white. This isn't white." Y'all, the way my mama's jaw clenched, she was using every ounce of self-control not to drag her sister right there in front of all those people. "You have two choices," Mama said quietly but firmly. "You can go home and change, or you can leave and not come back." "You're going to kick me out of my niece's wedding?" "No. You're kicking yourself out by being disrespectful and trying to upstage the bride on her day." By this time, a crowd had gathered. Mr. Robert, Isaiah's daddy, stepped forward. "Ladies, let's not do this here. Denise, I have a jacket in my car. It's a nice sage green. Why don't you put that on over your dress?" It was a good compromise, but Auntie Denise wasn't having it. "I'm not changing," she said stubbornly. "And I'm not leaving either. I have just as much right to be here as anyone else." That's when Mrs. Patricia stepped in. And y'all, when I tell you Isaiah's mama is one of the sweetest, kindest women you'll ever meet, I mean it. But she also has a spine of steel when necessary. "Denise," Mrs. Patricia said in that sweet but firm voice, "I understand you want to look nice, but today is about Bree and Isaiah, not about you. Now, you can either accept Mr. Stein, Robert's jacket, or I'm going to have to ask security to escort you out." "Security?" Auntie Denise laughed. "You're going to call security on me?" "If necessary," Mrs. Patricia said, not backing down. The standoff lasted for what felt like hours, but was probably only about 30 seconds. Finally, Auntie Denise snatched the sage green jacket from Mr. Robert and put it on, muttering under her breath the whole time. "There. Happy now?" she said. "Ecstatic," Mama said dryly. Upstairs in the bridal suite, I was blissfully unaware of all this drama. I was too busy trying not to cry while reading the letter my mama had written me for my wedding day. "My dearest Bree, today you become a wife, but you'll always be my baby girl. I'm so proud of the woman you've become. Strong, kind, smart, and beautiful inside and out. Your father is smiling down on you today, and I know he's just as proud as I am. Love you forever, Mama." I was an emotional wreck. It was almost time for the ceremony to start. My bridesmaids lined up, looking absolutely stunning in their sage green dresses. My brother Devin came to the bridal suite to walk me down the aisle since my daddy wasn't here to do it. "You ready, sis?" he asked, offering his arm. "More than ready," I said. We walked down to the garden where everyone was waiting. The string quartet started playing, and my bridesmaids began their walk down the aisle one by one. Then, it was my turn. The moment I stepped into view, everything else faded away. I saw Isaiah standing at the altar, and the look on his face made every stressful moment of wedding planning worth it. He was looking at me like I was the only person in the world, tears streaming down his face, with that gorgeous smile I fell in love with. I didn't even notice Auntie Denise sitting in the third row with that stupid jacket on. All I saw was my future husband waiting for me. Devin walked me down the aisle, and when we got to the altar, he hugged me tight and whispered, "Daddy would be proud. I'm proud. Go get your man." Isaiah took my hands, and we stood there smiling at each other like fools while the officiant talked about love and commitment. When it was time for our vows, Isaiah went first. "Gabrielle, from the moment I met you at that alumni event, doing the wobble and almost knocking over the punch bowl, I knew you were special. You make me laugh every single day. You challenge me to be better. You love me even when I leave my socks on the floor. You're my best friend, my partner, and the love of my life. I promise to always cherish you, support your dreams, defend you against all haters, and never, ever finish the last piece of your mama's sweet potato pie. I love you." Everyone laughed at the sweet potato pie part, including me. Then it was my turn. "Isaiah, baby, I had a whole speech prepared, but now I'm standing here looking at your fine self and I can't remember half of it." More laughter. "But what I do remember is this. You are the kindest, most genuine, most loving man I've ever known. You make me feel safe, cherished, and understood. You pray with me, laugh with me, and even watch reality TV with me, without complaining too much. You're not just my husband, you're my home. And I promise to love you, support you, keep you humble when you think you're too cute, and make sure your mama's recipes get passed down to our future kids. I love you." There wasn't a dry eye in the place. The officiant pronounced us husband and wife. Isaiah kissed me like we were the only two people on earth. and everyone cheered. We walked back down the aisle as Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell, and I was floating on air. The reception was held in the mansion's ballroom, which looked like something out of a fairy tale, with twinkle lights, flowers everywhere, and our sage green and gold color scheme perfectly executed. Dinner was amazing. The DJ was playing all our favorite songs. People were dancing, laughing, and celebrating with us. It was perfect, until it wasn't. During the father-daughter dance, which was actually a mother-son and mother-daughter dance since my daddy wasn't here, I danced with my mama while Isaiah danced with Mrs. Patricia. It was emotional and beautiful, and everyone was respectful and quiet, watching these special moments. Except Auntie Denise. In the middle of the dance, she stood up, walked over to the DJ booth, and grabbed the microphone. "Excuse me, everyone," she said loudly, interrupting the music. My mama and I stopped dancing. Isaiah and Mrs. Patricia stopped dancing. Everyone turned to look at her. "I just want to say a few words about my niece," Auntie Denise continued. "We didn't ask for speeches yet," the DJ said, trying to take the mic back. "Well, I have something to say," Auntie Denise insisted, holding the mic away from him. Isaiah squeezed my hand. "You want me to handle this?" "No," I said, my patience finally running out. "I got this." I walked over to where Auntie Denise was standing with that fake smile plastered on her face. "Auntie, this isn't the time for speeches. I'm not giving a speech. I just want to share some memories about you growing up." "No, thank you." "Why not? I'm your auntie. I have just as much right to speak as anyone, because this is my wedding, not your show." "See, that's exactly what I'm talking about," Auntie Denise said into the microphone for everyone to hear. "You've always been selfish, Bree, even as a little girl." The entire room went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. "Excuse me?" I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "I said, you're selfish. You always have been. You exclude people, you don't appreciate what others do for you, and now you're being disrespectful on your own wedding day." My mama started walking toward us, but I held up my hand to stop her. This was my moment. "Auntie Denise," I said, still maintaining my composure even though I was boiling inside, "let me tell you something. I have bent over backward to include you in every part of this wedding. I invited you to dinners, asked for your opinion, and tried to make you feel welcome, but instead of being supportive, you've criticized everything. You talked bad about my dress before you even saw it. You called our venue tacky. You told people our marriage wouldn't last. And today, you showed up to my wedding wearing white because you wanted to take attention away from me. I didn't." "Yes, you did. And you know what? I'm done. I'm done trying to make you happy. I'm done trying to get your approval. I'm done letting you steal my joy. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to give the DJ his microphone back, you're going to sit down, and you're going to let me enjoy the rest of my wedding. Or you can leave. Your choice." Auntie Denise stood there, her mouth hanging open like a fish. For once in her life, she was speechless. "Well?" I said, crossing my arms. She thrust the microphone at the DJ and stomped back to her seat, but not before saying loud enough for everyone to hear, "I hope you're happy ruining our family." "I'm not ruining anything," I called after her. "I'm protecting my peace." My guests erupted in applause. Not polite applause either. I'm talking about standing ovation, snapping fingers, "Yas, girl" type applause. Isaiah came over and wrapped his arms around me. That was the sexiest thing I've ever seen. I laughed, the tension breaking. "You think so?" "Baby, you just checked your auntie at your own wedding without cursing her out or fighting her. That took serious restraint and class. I'm so proud of you." Mrs. Patricia came over and hugged me too. "Welcome to the family, baby. You handled that perfectly." My mama hugged me last. "That's my girl," she whispered. "You stood up for yourself with grace. I taught you well." The rest of the reception was amazing. We did our first dance to Adorn by Miguel. We cut our cake without smashing it in each other's faces like civilized people. We tossed the bouquet and garter. We danced the wobble, the Cupid shuffle, and the electric slide. It was everything I dreamed it would be. Auntie Denise sat in her corner the entire time, pouting and refusing to participate in anything. A few people tried to get her to dance or eat, but she just sat there with her arms crossed, looking miserable. At one point, my cousin Shayla came over to apologize. "Bree, I'm so sorry about my mama. I tried to stop her, I swear. It's not your fault, Shayla. Your mama is grown and responsible for her own actions. I know, but still, this is embarrassing. Don't let it ruin your night. Go dance with your man. And have fun." After the reception ended and most guests had left, the bridal party and close family stuck around to help clean up. We were boxing up centerpieces and collecting gifts when Auntie Denise finally approached me. "I'm leaving," she announced. "Okay," I said, not looking up from the box I was packing. "Aren't you going to apologize?" I stopped what I was doing and looked at her. Apologize for what? For embarrassing me in front of everyone. I laughed. Actually laughed. "Auntie, you embarrassed yourself. I just called you out on it. I wore this dress because I thought it was pretty. I didn't know it would be such a big deal." "Yes, you did. Cousin Shayla warned you. Multiple people told you it was inappropriate. You wore it anyway because you wanted attention. That's not true." "Auntie, I'm not doing this with you. Not today. Not on my wedding day. You can leave, and we can talk about this another time when we've both had time to cool off." She stood there for a moment, looking like she wanted to say more, but then she just huffed and walked away. My mama came over and put her arm around me. "You okay, baby?" "Yeah, Mama, I'm good. I'm sorry she ruined your day." She didn't ruin anything. She tried to, but she failed. I'm married to an amazing man. I'm surrounded by people who love me, and I stood up for myself without losing my cool. I'd say today was a success. Mama kissed my forehead. That's my girl. Isaiah and I left for our honeymoon the next day, 2 weeks in Bali, living our best life. We turned off our phones for the first few days and just enjoyed being newlyweds. But eventually, we had to turn them back on. And when we did, I had dozens of missed calls and texts. Most were from family and friends congratulating us again and telling us how beautiful the wedding was. But there were also several from Auntie Denise. The first few were angry messages about how I disrespected her and how she couldn't believe I talked to her that way in front of everyone. But the later messages were different. "Bree, we need to talk. Bree, I've been doing some thinking. Bree, call me when you get this, please." I showed the messages to Isaiah. "Should I call her?" "Do you want to?" "Not really, but I know it's going to keep bothering me if I don't." "Then call her. But remember, you don't owe her anything. If she's just calling to argue more, you can hang up." I waited until we were back home and settled before calling her. She answered on the first ring. "Bree? Hey, Auntie." There was a long pause, and then she said something I never expected to hear from her. "I'm sorry." I almost dropped the phone. "What?" I said, "I'm sorry. For the dress, for the scene, for everything." I didn't say anything, waiting for the but that I knew was coming. After the wedding, Shayla sat me down and really read me. She told me I was acting like a child, that I was jealous, and that I was pushing away everyone who loved me. And you know what? She was right. I sat down on the couch, still processing this. "I've been jealous of your mama for years," Auntie Denise continued. "She got the good marriage, the good kids, the good life. And I got bad marriages, disappointment, and regret. And instead of being happy for her and for you, I took my bitterness out on y'all." "Why?" I asked. "Because it's easier to be angry at other people's happiness than to deal with your own unhappiness." That was surprisingly deep coming from Auntie Denise. "I wore that dress on purpose," she admitted. "I wanted to get a reaction. I wanted attention. I wanted people to see me. And all I ended up doing was making myself look foolish and hurting you on what should have been the happiest day of your life." "It was still the happiest day of my life, Auntie. You didn't ruin it, but I tried to." "Yeah, you did." She laughed a little. "You stood up to me. Your mama's been standing up to me for years. But you? That was the first time. And you know what? I respect that. You drew a line and didn't let me cross it. I learned from the best, I said, thinking about my mama. Bree, I know I can't undo what I did, but I want to try to do better. I want to work on myself and be a better auntie, a better sister, a better person. Can you forgive me? I thought about it for a moment. This was the same woman who had been making my life difficult for years. The same woman who couldn't be happy for me even on my wedding day. But she was also my auntie, my mama's sister, my family. I forgive you, Auntie, but forgiveness doesn't mean I'm going to forget. You're going to have to prove through your actions that you've really changed. I understand, and I will, I promise. We talked for a little while longer, and for the first time in my life, I had an actual, genuine conversation with Auntie Denise. She told me about her failed marriages and how each one had made her more bitter. She talked about watching my mama succeed at everything, while she felt like she was failing at life. She opened up about her insecurities and fears in a way I'd never heard before. By the end of the conversation, I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt something like compassion. Auntie Denise was human, flawed, and hurting, just like everyone else. Over the next several months, Auntie Denise really did make an effort to change. She started going to therapy to deal with her jealousy and bitterness. She apologized to my mama for years of difficult behavior. She even apologized to Isaiah and his parents for her behavior at the wedding. And slowly, bit by bit, our relationship changed. She wasn't perfect, old habits die hard, but she was trying. When she'd start to say something negative, she'd catch herself and rephrase it. When she'd feel jealous, she'd acknowledge it and work through it instead of lashing out. The biggest change came at Thanksgiving, about 8 months after the wedding. We all gathered at Mama's house like we do every year. Auntie Denise showed up early and helped Mama cook. No complaints, no criticisms, just genuine help. At dinner, when we went around the table saying what we were thankful for, Auntie Denise teared up when it was her turn. I'm thankful for second chances, she said. I'm thankful that this family didn't give up on me when I was at my worst. I'm thankful for therapy, which is helping me be better. And I'm thankful for Bree, who showed me that sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, even to family, especially to family. There wasn't a dry eye at the table. After dinner, Auntie Denise pulled me aside. I got you something, she said, handing me a small wrapped box. Auntie, you didn't have to. Just open it. Inside was a beautiful bracelet with a charm that said, "Strong women lift each other up." I saw this and thought of you, she said. You're strong, Bree. You didn't let me break you, even when I tried. And you still found it in your heart to forgive me. That takes a special kind of strength. I hugged her, really hugged her, for the first time in years. Thank you, Auntie, for trying, for changing, for being here. Thank you for giving me another chance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is perfect. Auntie Denise still has her moments. She still says slick stuff sometimes. She still can be difficult, but she's trying, and that's what matters. The wedding situation taught me some important lessons. First, you can love someone and still set boundaries with them. You can forgive someone without forgetting what they did. And sometimes, the people who hurt us the most are the ones who are hurting the most themselves. Auntie Denise wore white to my wedding on purpose because she was drowning in her own misery and trying to drag me down with her. But instead of letting her ruin my day, I chose to rise above it. I chose to protect my peace, and in doing that, I showed her that you can be strong and graceful at the same time. Isaiah and I just celebrated our first anniversary, and we had both our families over for dinner. Auntie Denise brought flowers and a card that said, "To the couple who showed me what real love looks like." Inside, she'd written, "Thank you for loving each other so much that it inspired me to love myself more." My mama cried when she read it. My sister is finally healing, she said. And you know what? She was right. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and a lot of uncomfortable moments. But it's possible. So to anyone out there dealing with a difficult family member, whether it's an auntie who wore white to your wedding, a cousin who always starts drama, or a parent who can't seem to be supportive. Here's what I learned. You have the right to protect your peace. You have the right to set boundaries. You have the right to call people out when they're wrong, even if they're family. But you also have the responsibility to leave room for redemption. People can change if they really want to. And sometimes, standing up to someone is the wake-up call they need to start their healing journey. My wedding day didn't go exactly as planned. But looking back, I wouldn't change it. That moment when I stood up to Auntie Denise wasn't just about defending my wedding. It was about defending my worth, my joy, and my right to be happy without someone else's permission. And in the end, it led to something beautiful. My auntie got the help she needed. Our family healed. And I learned that sometimes the biggest act of love is refusing to accept less than you deserve, even from people you love. So yeah, my auntie wore white to my wedding on purpose, but I wore my strength, my grace, and my refusal to be diminished. And that's what people remember most. Not the white dress, not the scene, not the drama. They remember a bride who stood her ground, a family that healed, and a love story that was stronger than anyone's attempt to diminish it. And that, y'all, is how you turn a mess into a message. Like this video if it touched something in you. Subscribe if you want to hear more stories about what it means to be human, to be family, and to choose love even when it's complicated. I'll see you next time.